If I woke up tomorrow and my only training option for the next 6 months was a hotel gym and a resistance band, I'd still build muscle and I'd still maintain 10 to 12% body fat. And I'd probably outperform 80% of people with full gym access. And no, I'm not talking about doing push-ups and jumping jacks. I'm going to break down the exact 3-session protocol I use when I'm on the road, the specific mechanism that makes it work regardless of what equipment is available, and the mistake I see almost every traveling professional make that turns a perfectly good hotel gym session into wasted time. My name is Zach Rana. I'm a biochemist. I've traveled to over 20 countries while staying at 12% body fat, and I coach traveling executives and consultants, people who are running 60-hour weeks, flying every other week. One of the first things that we do with every client is completely rebuild their relationship with the gym and build it around the reality of their schedule. I'll share a quick example of this. Jude is one of my clients. He's a SaaS executive, travels to 5 different continents to maintain teams across those areas, and has more than 30 weeks of travel a year. He's never had consistent gym access in the 3 years we've worked together, and yet he's in the best shape of his life. Here's the belief I need to dismantle before we go any further, because if you're still thinking this way, literally nothing else I say in this video will land the way that it should. The problem is that most people believe that a hotel gym is like a consolation prize. Like it's just like maintenance at best. That real progress, building actual muscle, improving body composition in a meaningful way, requires a fully equipped facility. That belief is wrong, and I can prove it with basic human physiology. See, muscle growth is driven by one primary stimulus. It's not barbells, it's not squat racks, it's not a specific piece of equipment, it's progressive overload. The progressive increase in mechanical tension placed on a muscle over time. That's the mechanism. That's what our muscle tissue responds to, and as we start to progress in the amount of weight we're training with, our muscles start to grow, and in turn, our metabolism starts to go up. A barbell creates the stimulus very effectively. So do resistance bands, cables, dumbbells, and bodyweight movements when they're programmed with intentional, consistent progression. The signals our muscles receive are identical. The equipment delivering it then becomes irrelevant. So once you understand this, a hotel gym stops being a limitation. It becomes simply a different delivery system for the same stimulus. So here's how I structure every training week when I'm in a hotel. I do 3 sessions. Each one is 25 to 45 minutes and never missed because they're designed to fit inside the real constraints of travel. And since there's 3 a week, if one day is crazy, I just move it to the next, okay? Session 1 is gonna be an upper body push and pull day. Chest, shoulders, back, biceps, triceps. A lot of different muscle groups, but I'm targeting opposing muscle groups. So let me explain what this means. Basically, if I'm training my chest and my back at the same time, I can do a set of, let's say, chest press, and then I can go straight into a set of maybe cable rows. And I don't have to rest in between those two because they're opposing muscle groups. So when I do a pressing motion, I'm using my chest and my triceps. When I'm doing a pulling motion, I'm using my back and my biceps. I can superset these things together and collapse my training windows in half. This is called antagonistic muscle training, okay? I'll give you the specific exercises in a moment. But session 2 is a lower body and hinge day. This is quads, hamstrings, and glutes. If there's a leg press available, that's gonna run the session. If not, which unfortunately most gyms don't have at a hotel, then we're gonna do a lot of single leg dumbbell work, okay? So Bulgarian split squats, Romanian deadlifts with dumbbells, walking lunges with load, single leg movements are one of the most underutilized tools in hotel training because you can load each leg individually. So if I have a 40-pound dumbbell, suddenly it becomes genuinely challenging where it wouldn't if I was training bilaterally, meaning like using both of my legs. Session 3 is gonna be a full body metabolic session. This is compound movements, slightly higher rep ranges now, and shorter rest times. So this session basically is gonna give me the caloric burn, doubles sort of as a conditioning as well, if my cardio options are limited. So that's it, 3 sessions, upper, lower, full body, in and out in 40 minutes or less, that's the week. If you want the entire guide of the exercise list, sets, reps, and progression model, you can click on the link down below or comment the word hotel, and I'll send that to you. Now let's dive into what most traveling professionals get wrong. They walk into a hotel gym, do the same exercises, feel like they worked hard, and leave. And they do essentially the same thing the next time that they're in a hotel gym. That's not training, that's just movement. Okay, and there's a meaningful difference in our physiology here. So allow me to explain this. See, training requires a progressive stimulus. Our bodies only adapt to the demand if it exceeds what we can already do. If we're doing the same exercises, the same weights, the same reps every time, your body has no reason to change. So you have to be pushing yourself out of that comfort zone. So here's the simple progression model I use on the road. Every session, I'm trying to do one of three things. I'm either trying to do more reps with the same weight, the same reps with more weight, or the same reps in the same weight, but with a more challenging variation. For example, slowing it down, making each rep slower. One of these three things every single session, that's it. You don't need a complex periodization program. You don't need a record of every single thing that you've ever lifted. Honestly, if you just write these things down in your phone notes, you'll be able to reference them the next time, right? All you need is a commitment to staying consistent, right? That single practice is what separates people who maintain versus the people who can actually build on the road and actually see some meaningful progress. Okay, but you might be thinking, but Zach, what if I'm at a hotel gym that is genuinely terrible? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. If it just has 2 treadmills, a stationary bike, set of dumbbells, and tops out at like 25 pounds, right? I've been in those hotel rooms, it feels like you're in a closet, right? So this is where the resistance band becomes the most important tool in your carry-on. And if you think about it, a looped resistance band set, which is usually 3 bands of different resistances, those in total weigh less than half a pound and take up like the amount of space of a pair of socks. So super easy to carry with you. And with that, you can load every major muscle group with enough tension to actually drive progressive stimulus. So for upper body, here's the exercises you can do. Banded rows, banded chest press, banded shoulder press, banded curls, banded tricep pushdowns. Every movement from a full gym cable station, you can just replace with a band anchored to the door. For lower body, banded squats, banded Romanian deadlifts, banded glute bridges, banded lateral walks for hip abductors, just to name a few, okay? So the banded sessions, obviously are not gonna load as much tension on your muscles as a full gym session, but they're definitely better than doing nothing. And more importantly, they maintain the habit and the identity of somebody who trains consistently on the road. And ultimately, I think that identity is worth more long-term than any single training session. Now, here's what I can guess you're thinking if you're still watching this video. Is like, Zach, I've tried training in hotel gyms. I show up, I do a workout, and it does nothing. The weights aren't heavy enough, the equipment's wrong. I just can't feel anything the next day. And I totally get that because I've had the exact same experience. It's sometimes really disappointing to walk into a hotel gym and be like, this one sucks. Like if I just had a real facility, I could actually do something. But here's ultimately what that experience is telling you. It's not that the hotel gym doesn't work, it's that you walked in without the plan designed for that environment because you were trying to replicate your home gym. That's what I used to do. I used to think like, how can I replicate what I usually do when I'm working out at home? And when it didn't feel the same to me, I just concluded that the environment was the problem. I was like, well, it's because the hotel gym sucks that I'm not gonna be able to get a workout in, right? But in reality, the environment's never the problem. The plan is the problem. I wanna share a quick story with you. I have a client, his name's Corey Woodcock. He's a traveling emergency veterinarian. So he covers different hospitals across the country and he's staying in new cities, new hotels, different gyms every week, as well as having a changing schedule because he'll work days one week and then nights the next. Not to mention on top of that, he also came to me with a back injury that had kept him out of training for months and a belief that he basically had to accept losing the physique he'd spent years building and just losing his health. But 7 months later, Corey had resolved the back injury through a specific warm-up and mobility protocol we built in every session, and he actually added lean muscle. And he's done this exclusively in hotel gyms because he's on the road every week and occasionally in his living room with a band if he needs to. He told me during one of our calls that the moment for him where everything changed was when he stopped just almost like mourning the fact that he didn't have a good gym, and he just started optimizing around what he did have. So that shift from resistance and being like, oh, this sucks, to adaptation is available to every single one of us. We just have to decide if we're gonna allow our travel to be the reason that we don't have good health and stay in shape, or if we're gonna do that despite it. Here's the 3 things I want you to write down. The hotel gym equipment you'll realistically have access to. If you've been staring at Marriott's consistently, for example, you know basically what their gym is gonna look like. Then I want you to pick 3 exercises you're gonna use for upper body, 3 exercises you're gonna use for the lower body day, and then 3 exercises you're gonna do for the full body day. And again, like down below, I have my example list, so you can kind of use that as your example. And then write down what your current baseline is. What weights and reps can you do for each of them? And then when you walk into that hotel gym with those 3 things in your notes app, you execute the session and you just record what you did. Next session, you try to up 1 variable. That's the entire system. It's not rocket science, right? It's pre-planned, no decisions in the moment, no standing in the hotel gym wondering what to do and being like, woe is me, this sucks, right? Just show up with the decision that you've already decided what to do, right? Here's what I want to leave you with that goes beyond the workout itself too, is the people who are traveling consistently and are able to stay lean and strong for years, not just during the busy seasons, but through the brutal stretches too, they aren't the ones who found a better hotel gym. They're the ones who built an identity that doesn't depend on a specific environment being perfect for them to be able to do what they know they need to do. And ultimately, when you train consistently in a hotel room with a resistance band, it's not just about maintaining muscle. It's not very fun, right? But really what you're doing is you're building evidence of like, I am a fit, healthy person. I am taking care of my health and fitness. It only takes 20 to 40 minutes 3 times a week, right? It's not like a huge time commitment. So saying I don't have time, I mean, really, I used to tell myself I don't have time, but really if you can condense your training windows like I just showed you how to do, you don't actually need that much time to do these workouts, right? So here's what I want you to test on your next trip. 1 week, 3 sessions using the protocol I described. Keep a record of what you did each session. At the end of the week, look at your numbers and tell me if there was progress. I've run this with hundreds of clients, so the progression is always there because the mechanism doesn't change based on where you're training, okay? So once again, if you want that complete session by session protocol, you can click the link below or comment hotel, however the algorithm works, I don't know. And then I'll send you the exercise list, progression tracker that I use with each client. Now, if you've been training consistently on the road and still not seeing the body composition change you expect, the workout might not be the problem. There's a second variable that silently undermines everything that we're doing at the gym, especially for people who travel. I covered it in detail in this video right here that I'll put on the screen, and it's probably the most important thing I've put out this year. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you want to continue your learning, you can click on the video right here.